This is the real truth about chemtrails, and we know that many people, as Christians, they call us nutcases and nut jobs, and they say, oh, it's just jet fuel, oh, you're just conspiracy theorists. But we know the truth. This is what the Illuminati really do. Only a few people have spoke out against it. Prince spoke out against it. Mostly that's why he was killed. Illuminati blasting us with happy drugs and viruses through chemtrails. Corrupt world leaders are filling the skies with chemtrails to keep us in check, and even sick by blasting them out through so-called chemtrails. It has been claimed. Conspiracy theorist warning made the shocking allegation on his website, UFO sighting daily, after sharing a video which allegedly shows a UFO analyzing the contrails of a passenger jet. The chemtrails conspiracy theory is one of the most widely believed on Earth. It claims that normal contrails seen coming from aircraft are actually being used to covert spray chemtrails into the sky in front of our eyes. Exactly, this is where people twist it and that, and this is where they'll basically say, oh, it's just from the jet engines. There's proof that these so-called lines from the jet engine and the plane engine only appear for a matter of seconds or a matter of minutes. They don't stay in the sky all day, and I've seen proof of this. Look out the window when you see an airplane pass by. Now, if it was jet lines, don't you think you would see that line every single time a plane went past? That's how you know it's lies. Because every single plane, you would see that line. Why don't you see it with every single plane that goes across? Because they'll say, oh, it's a different engine. Doesn't make a difference. You should still see the lines on every single plane that goes past, but you don't. Because when you see thousands of lines, it ain't normal. It is not normal. And if you know anything about HAARP, it's basically where they try and mess with the weather, create global warming. It claims that the theories over what is being sprayed vary from to stop global warming to happy just to keep populations in check, and even viral infections to make people sick and line the pockets of pharmaceutical companies. Not really a surprise. The chemtrail filmed over Slovakia, which sprayed the Scott warning run. Exactly. This doesn't look normal. Because a jet engine and that, you'd see it every single time. Why don't you see it with every single plane? Because they're messing with it. Most chemtrail believers, whose number include Hollywood hardman Chuck Norris, claim the alleged Illuminati are behind the chemtrail scandal. The Illuminati is another widely believed conspiracy theory which claims secret corrupt business tycoons actually run the government from behind the scenes, and they are planning to bring about a new world order, which they are. In one of his most outlandish posts, yet Mr. alleged to believe in both conspiracy theorists along side his usual belief that aliens are secretly visiting Earth. No, it's demons. It's not aliens, it's demons. We know that. But the government lie and say that they're aliens, and they don't know what. They'll say, we don't know what they are. It's an unidentified object. They know exactly. It's all connected to CERN. CERN even admitted that they've opened portals. That's how demons come in. That's why you're seeing so many unknown objects. Because CERN are opening portals over and over again to let demons in. Because demons... That's why, demons are aliens, because they can't stay here long. For them to stay permanently, a portal has to be opened, which is connected to the demonic. He was discussing video footage which allegedly showed a bright glowing orb UFO seen near the chemtrail of a passenger jet on December 16th. Now this could be easily fate. An alleged near UFO near we all know it's the agenda. Well, as I said with the chemtrails, this is even more proof, because we all know, and many people can deny it, because the government ain't stupid and the Illuminati ain't dumb. It's hard to convince others that chemtrails even exist. The most shrug and wonder what the fuss is all about. After all, jets have exhaust trails, don't they? Yes, they do. Those are seen sometimes as contrails, but contrails don't trail for more than a few plane lengths. Exactly. So, this is how you know that they're messing around. Nor do they remain in the sky and become hazy clouds. Contrails are icy crystals formed from jet exhaust when conditions are right, so they evaporate quickly. Exactly. So why are these lines still in the sky then? Many people will try and worm their way around it. It's chemtrails, because there's proof. When you see a normal plane go past, that most likely hasn't got chemtrails attached to it, you'll see the line disappear quickly. So, I'd like to see them explain that, because one, every single plane, you don't see a line all the time. So, if these lines were from so-called jet engines, you'd see it every single time now, wouldn't you? Chemtrails linger often from horizon to horizon, sometimes widening to form steely clouds. Chemtrails are loaded with heavy metal toxins that have been measured in the water and air at several different locations. And now these toxins are showing up at high levels in blood samples from regular folks who have been ill while living in chemtrailed areas, because this is the agenda of the Illuminati. It may be hard to believe, but the Illuminati want to depopulate the population, so they're making more money. Throughout the world, many curious young and old regular folks, serious amateur scientists and environmental activists have collected water and air samples after a period of chemtrail has occurred. The results are almost identical regardless of the locations. barium and strontium are found with high levels in all those samples. They are invisible yet are found in water and air samples at ground levels. This means they are infesting plant life and water supplies while we breathe them into our lungs. Breathing in toxins bypass a considerate amount of our immune systems. An Horizon resident recently collected certified medical blood test documents from seriously ill and sent them to various state and federal elected officials demanding an investigation. The blood sample documents showed extremely high amounts of either brainal or abnormal or both. None of those people worked or had worked with hazardous materials, such were retired. Some long-time rural residents away from dense automobile traffic and industry in California and New Mexico, Canada and elsewhere were noticing hazy skies and fading greenly with warning crops. These were environmentally concerned citizens from all walks of life who started investigating the chemtrail phenomenon, covering up and conditioning. In 2008, the CFR Council on Foreign Relations sponsored a scientific symposium in San Diego, where the prospect of experimenting with geoengineering, aka chemtrail, was discussed. They mentioned spraying aluminum in the stratosphere as a useful sun shield to slow global warming. What's strange is they were proposing an inexpensive and early experiment to be considered that had been going on for well over a decade. None of those scientists knew or admitted this, just as invasions of other nations are covered as human inventions. Chemtrails activity was given its own cover story. The first step for solving any problem is knowing that it exists. Very few humans look at aircraft activity or weather phenomenon with a critical eye. Then it has to be accepted that there is something strange and different about those long, dense trails from high altitude, aircraft that linger and billow out. Observe the difference between contrails and chemtrails. With open eyes and an open mind, research the internet and observe satellite photos of trails. Read about the established flight logs and established commercial aircraft routes that differ from those chemtrail patterns. Use the internet for more information. Taking care of yourself and family is the first priority. You should increase heavy metal detox and consume more foods that protect you from heavy metals. Use the national news. But as we see, this is what they really do. German scientists exposes chemtrails as military operations. A TV news report from Germany, see below, confirmed that the German military is manipulating the climate in Germany. As a result, scientists have filed a lawsuit against the government for climate manipulation. The video concludes, "We can state with a 97% certainty that we have on our hands chemical trails. Chemtrails comprised by fine dust-containing polymers and metals used to disrupt radar signals. The purpose of chemtrails which are well documented over the United States and other parts of the world, according to researchers, is to manipulate the weather. German map states the Federal Army is manipulating the maps. The strip of radar signals is the main purpose. Theories, Mr. Brandit in an interview. I was surprised that this artificial cloud was so widespread. The radar images are stunning, considering that needed tons of dispersed elements, although the Federal Army claims that only small amounts of materials were propagated. The military head claims that the substances used are not harmful. German Green Party representative states the government must provide to the unsuspecting population while radar is tracking suspicious aircraft. The German military then uses counterfeit satellite imagery to hide their operations. In Germany, weather map is prohibited, and I would likewise believe that it is prohibited in the US as well. Since chemtrails are so widespread, I would rule out the idea that this is just military performing operations to disrupt radar signals as part of some sort of drill. The forefront of these operations in the United States appears to be the US Navy, are detailed in depth in the air, globalism, terrorism, and toxic warfare. Many government watchdogs claim global depopulation, the targeted reduction of the world's population by 2/3 is secretly the reason behind the chemtrail spraying. This is a part of the Illuminati agenda, like many people are going to deny it. But this is the agenda of the Illuminati. They want to depopulate the world. An ultimate theory explained chemtrails would be that a new weapon related to controlling the weather is being deployed by creating droughts, and those large populations could be easily controlled or eliminated. Other countries could be easily controlled and brought to their knees by a global power if the weather could be controlled or altered. If you know anything about HAARP, many people might say this doesn't exist, or either deny it or say it doesn't exist. Look up HAARP. This device exists. It's basically known for messing with the weather. It's what it does. Basically messes with the weather. Basically holograms and that. For a while I was confused between chemtrails and contrails. Contrails are the exhaust of an aircraft. It leaves a trail in the sky, and the trail rapidly disintegrates. As it says, it disappears. And this is proven fact. Every single time a plane goes by, and I just look out the window or something, or I'm out somewhere, the line will disappear. It'll disappear within a few seconds or a few minutes. So these lines that are staying in the sky for hours, days, isn't from a jet exhaust. It's chemtrails. There's a difference between basically lines from an aircraft and chemtrails. Chemtrails, you'll see it's like a wide. It's dead wide. A line from an aeroplane is dead thin. You'll only see one. But they'll twist it because this is a part of the government New World Order agenda. With chemtrails, they intentionally look identical identical to contrails, but rather than the trail displating the trail expands on, then starts to look like a cloud over the Silicon Valley where I live. I daily witness these chemtrails starting and stopping from aeroplanes. In other words, the plane has control over the chemtrails it is releasing. Also, I have noticed on some days the area is filled with a grey, hazy muck, and the mountains almost disappear. This is highly unusual, especially when just one day before the mountains were totally clear. Part of the undercurrents, at least in the United States, is the concept being marketed through radio, television and schools that the Earth is overpopulated. The idea of overpopulation as the cause of our problems was something that I have believed for a long time. This is overpopulation. They basically wanted kill a load of people. I believed in that idea until I realized the abundance of nature, just seeing the amount of food produced by one healthy tree and the millions of unused land in Central California helped me understand nature's abundance. Humans are grossly misusing Earth's resources, and thus we have created an experience of lack, and the lack we experience is not nature but a reflection of a disconnection from the source of life. Every action, thought and feeling has a cause and effect. Evil never will win, it cannot, but we all need to work together to bring more awareness to the dread reality that our government seems bent on making this planet as a military war zone. As we see, this is not completely normal, because it's engineered and controlled. As I said, many people are going to deny it. And as I said, with this, look at this card. This is proof that it's an agenda, that chemtrailing is very real. This card was created in 1982. That's when it was created, 1982. International Weather Organization, meaning they're messing with the weather. See the chemtrails? See this? That is not normal. That's not jet engine. It's chemtrails. There's a difference. As you see, they're messing with the weather. This is a game card. It's all a game. It is all a game to the Illuminati. It's a joke. Reality to them is a game. Because they're all Satan worshippers. Satan's trying to dumb people down and whatever he can. And then you had basically Prince, which we know was sacrificed, blood sacrificed. If chemtrails weren't real, you wouldn't have stars speaking out against it. Here is an example excerpt from his song Dreamer. While the helicopter circles us, this fury is getting deep. Think they are spraying chemtrails over the city while we sleep. From now on, I'm staying awake. You can call me a dreamer too. Wake up, wake up. I mean, there you go. And as we see here as well, unsuspecting citizens mistake chemtrails for regular aeroplane tracks, but that's not what they are. They are chemical loads that are poured out above our heads by planes that have been specially equipped for this. The object of these loads is to make the population ill and to inhibit their development. This operation is part of the Illuminati's admiration to force back the world population to proportions they can control. Approximate 500 million. They are led by NATO, which, just as the UN, is an Illuminati organization. Chemtrails can be recognized by the fixed stripes they form in the sky. See the difference between the thin ones? This image here, see the difference between the thick ones and the thin ones. The thin ones are normal. The fat ones, not normal. It's not normal. That's the difference between chemtrails and jet engine. See the white one going across the dead thin one? This image. See the thin one? See the rest? That's how you know which ones are fake. Because no plane circles around like that. It's chemtrails can be recognized by the fixed stripes they form in the sky. They don't dissolve within a few seconds as normal exhaust fumes of planes. Exactly. This is where many people deny it and say, oh, it's from a plane. No, it isn't, because it will disappear in a matter of seconds. And there's proof, as I said. Watch an airplane when it goes past, and the line that it leaves, it'll start to disappear. These lines don't, because the chemtrails. There's a difference between contrails and chemtrails, also called contrails, do but slowly fan out. Since they are nearly always sprayed in a screen pattern by multiple planes, they can fill up a clear blue sky nearly entirely, while a white veil within half an hour. As we see, that's not normal. Not normal airplane stripes. Normal aeroplanes often fly approximately the same route every day. At the same times, their contrails look like white smoke stripes, like the exhaust fumes of cars in cold air. Chemtrails, however, are often segregated in dense, sometimes lumpy stripes. On spray days, you'll see the most bizarre flights appear in the air, which sometimes includes 6 or 7 planes at the same time. Sometimes they fly parallel to each other. Sometimes they make curves, or they suddenly start producing a stripe or start making one. Chemtrail debunkers claim that the chemtrails are simply frozen plane tracks, which is lies. But they can't explain why normal planes flying through the same air at the same time don't leave any tracks at all. Exactly. That is exactly what I said. That is exactly what I said. This is what they try and argue with. Why, if it was these chemtrails were to do, and you see how that chemtrail then was in the shape of a satanic pentagram. Watch in a minute. Not that one. Not that one. See, it basically looks like a satanic, basically, pentagram. But this is what they'll try and twist and try and debunk it. Yeah, nobody can ever explain why every plane doesn't leave a line or a mark. It's because the government is doing chemtrails. There's a difference between contrails and chemtrails. But they can't explain why normal planes through that same air at the same time don't leave any tracks at all. They also can't answer the question why the phenomenon has only been seen since halfway through the 90s and often can't be seen at all in thinly populated areas, sometimes with far colder air. Exactly. They can't explain that because they want to deny reality. With the jet engines of normal days, it's almost impossible to form a persistent contrail. You need unique atmospheric conditions for that. First, the aeroplane needs to be above 30,000 feet. The temperatures have to be below minus 40 degrees Celsius, and you have to have a related air humidity of 67%. But that's hardly ever the case, so what you see today with the whole spectrum from the horizon filled with contrails from planes flying at different altitudes is possible. That's science, so there must be another reason for it. Exactly. This ain't normal. This is not normal. That image that you see there, that's not normal. A plane does not do that. See how that's not normal? Sometimes they don't even bother anymore to hide what they are doing. They don't, because the masses has been so dumbed down. How it's done? Many airplanes are sent into the sky specifically for spraying chemtrails. For example, from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, USA, but there are also airplanes of which the pilots and the rest of the crew have no idea that they are spreading chemtrails. Sometimes they have an idea of, or they experience harmful effects of being so close to the poison, especially when indicates occur, but if they report it to their superiors, they often run into a wall. Equipping and maintaining the pouring system in these planes is done by specifically educated engineers, disguised as engineers of waste systems at airports all over the world. They connect the pouring system to the exhaust of the planes, so the chemical load is secretly stimulated to the normal exhaust fumes. That's how they hide it. As we see, that's how they do it. The Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, point of departure for countless of spray flights. A list of things to be found in chemtrails: heavy metals such as boron, aluminum, strontium, cadmium, titanium, viruses, bacteria, mold, which are related to the kinds that are used in biowarfare. Chemicals such as polymer fibers, psyllium chloride, silver iodide, dermide, EDP, which was used as pesticide among other uses, but is now prohibited because it's some of these chemtrails have a countless inhibiting effect on the brain. Chemtrails are mostly poured out over the Western world in dense polluted areas you can usually see chemtrails multiple days a week. In firmly populated areas only, as you see. Apart from weakening the population, some sources claim that chemtrails are also meant to fill the atmosphere with particles that stop engines from space. These engineers reach Earth in connection with the Ascension progress, and the Illuminati will do anything to stop this. These programs are called solar radiation management or ELDO management, and obviously serve for countering the non-existing problem of global warming. This would explain why they sometimes also spray above sea, such as here near. Why do you think your government used chemtrails to block the wonderful light energy that shines down on you from high above? This is a quote from somebody. A much heard argument of chemtrail deniers is that chemtrails can't make a distinction between the elite and the normal population on the ground, so the prep would also hit themselves and their loved ones. This is correct, but the Illuminati possess medication to protect them from the most effects of chemtrails, such as chloride, gold, and light. The vibration machines, which are kept away from mainstream medicine. Well, as we see, it ain't normal. Besides making sacrifices is part of the Freemason Illuminati system. Not for nothing, a ceremony takes place at the Botham Grove Conference in California annually, where the cremation of care is depicted in the form of burning a baby. We all know this goes on. Many people deny it because they can't accept reality. Satellite photo of chemtrails above Southeast America. The result. What is the effect of all these spray actions? Hospitals filling up, people walking the streets like zombies. No, things aren't that bad. The result is only small. They are probably at their wits' end by now at the NATO headquarters, because even in areas where they're spraying frequently has been increased to nearly daily, hardly anyone becomes ill, and our consciousness is not stopped but is developing itself at full speed. So obviously they're getting annoyed now. The Illuminati, if their plans don't go together, they'll get annoyed. Because not a lot of people are dying these days, so they have to sacrifice them, don't they? How is this possible? We owe a lot to our friends from space, because according to the divine plan, it is not allowed for humanity to encounter global disasters in the build-up to the ascension. The Galactic Federation has permission to intervene when necessary using their technology, which is light years ahead of us. They can convert the noxious chemicals and chemtrails into which at the worst can leave you with a runny nose. For many people in the Western world, it's still an odd idea that something like a loving God who surprises to make sure the balance of life is maintained truly exists. God does exist. None of this is to do with God. That is to do with the devil. who carry out this intention in practice, but for many native people who are much closer to nature than we are, this is perfectly normal. No, it isn't. That isn't normal. That's really normal, isn't it? It's not normal. We are waking up. However, the extraterrestrial intervention is not the only reason for the falling chemtrails program. Humanity is also working on a development process that can't be stopped by any chemical. The increasing frequency, the light that's sent to our planet from over the entire universe, the light workers that do their job all over the world is soaring, and people are waking up by the thousands. It's called God. This can especially be seen on the internet, not merely on spiritual websites, but also on regular news sites. A few years ago, reports of paranormal and terrorist attacks were taken very serious by the most viewers, but now they are often laughed off in the replies. More and more people know all too well about the elite, because it's all psyop, it's all controlled. They use it as fear. Many people laugh it off now because they're awake. They're aware of the media and what they do. It's all planned. Same with the ISIS, it was all planned. Fabricated group, fake news. Our friends in higher atmosphere urge us, for example, via channeling, to greet the airplane stripes above us with a feeling of forgiveness and love towards the pilots, instead of anger and hatred. In the end, everyone has their own life lessons to learn, and we can't judge the actions of another. Well, we can with righteous judgment. If somebody's doing stuff like this, that's righteous judgment. There will be a day when the last chemtrail is drawn, and then karma will decide how things will be settled for everyone who was involved in this black operation. It isn't karma, it's called God's judgment. God's judgment will put an end to this. But you'll see many people are trying to deny it and worm the way around it, that this doesn't happen, it's completely normal. It isn't normal. As I showed you the image, it's all agenda. All agenda. It was planned out by the Illuminati years before it happened. It's all planned. It's planned. Same with fluoride. Planned. It's all planned. They put fluoride in the water, so the water is basically horrible. This is what they really do, it's an agenda. Many people are awake to it, and all you can do is thank God that people are awake.